All right, well, let's call the June North Liberty Community Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. And obviously we have a change to our agenda. So we need to change the next meeting to whatever the third Monday in August is.
Which, yes, I'm sure you can just add that in once Heidi, once you figure out what the third Monday is. Perfect. All right. So that's any other additions or changes to the agenda?
Heidi, that's August 16th.
Okay, there we go. Laura's got on it for us. Any other additions or changes to the agenda? All right. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes? And is there a motion to approve the minutes or change or anything need to be changed?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Am I allowed to second?
All in favor of approving the May minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same sign, nay? No. All right, thank you. And we're on to reports, and Janet Lubin, our technology services librarian, is here with us tonight to give us her report from the luxury of her home. So I'll let her roll.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you all in different places and different spaces. And I do like the outdoor too, because I don't get a lot of outdoor, so it's nice to see it. I went over the statistics before the meeting, and the one that stood out the most was, no surprise, digital Johnson County ebooks. They were almost double what they were the month before, but the audio actually slipped a little bit. But several people at work commented that, well, people aren't driving to work, so they don't need the audio, so it all makes sense. One that I thought would really catch on, because when it comes to video, it's about streaming. I guess people do have DVDs. We check them out, TV series and everything, but streaming is where it's at. And so I thought Canopy would be really great. And given the state of, not the state of the union, but really the state of the world, the independent films I thought would really be watched and everything. And I asked Jenny, and she thought we had bumped it up, and Andrew agreed. We bumped it up during the COVID-19 to 15, which means you get 15 a month and then you can renew. It's generally 8. So we bumped it up just in case. And then we were getting unlimited children's, but I'm not sure. I thought it ended May 31st, but apparently that's not true, because it's the 15th and I watched Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, which is a really good video, by the way. And it's, speaking of the bus thing, I really wish I could figure out a way to really push Tumble Books as well as Canopy, because these are, they're not just educational, but they're fun to watch. And I really haven't hit on anything besides the summer reading program. It goes up a little bit, but I'm not sure how to reach that demographic. I'm not sure how to reach that, but I really would like for that to start blowing up, because we've had Tumble Books for years and they're really great. All you'd have to do is give your kid an iPad or a tablet or put them in front of a computer and they get books read to them. And they're great. The narration is great. The animation is great. It's a really great product. I just can't seem to find the right niche that we could. And Canopy is the same way. I'm hoping that we find a niche. I myself am a nonfiction DVD watcher. I don't really watch, although I do have Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and the Meg about the Megalodon right here beside me that I'll be watching this weekend. I got to figure out a way to reach an audience that I don't really know is the audience. You know what I mean? So I really would like to find that out with Canopy and be able to boost those numbers, because there's some quality stuff on there. There's some quality stuff on there. And yes, there are some, I guess you'd call them regular movies or whatever, but the independent and the nonfiction is so good. And the kids ones are really good. A lot of them based on books, which is great. I mean, that's nice and handy, sort of gets people the books matched up together. But yeah, I do my tech that I do, sort of switching gears here. The tech that I do, I tried classes. They weren't too well attended. It was really hit or miss. Couldn't figure out what day or night or afternoon or, whatever. So I just do one-on-ones. We set up a time and everything. And I've actually done a couple of one-on-ones during the COVID thing. So I can do it over the phone if I need to. I'm like the Best Buy geeks, except I'm free. And I'm working with Amy Golly about getting some tech videos made of, like, so you want to use Facebook, so you want to use Zoom, so you want to, there's just different things. And we've put a survey together that we're going to get posted on our Facebook page, hoping to put it in the newsletter, just sort of like a comfort. It's more like I don't want to say competency, but sort of like, because it's like, no, I wouldn't even touch this problem. I'm too scared something might break too. Yeah, I'll give it a whirl. I think I can troubleshoot it myself and sort of see where people are, because I kind of want to meet them where they're at instead of where I'm at. It's just easier that way. And it's with the one-on-ones. When I do my one-on-one interviews, like, well, what do you want to learn? How much in depth do you want to go? Do you just want to do this once and be done with it? Or is this something you want to continue to use? So we've put that together. She had a mock-up today. I saw the email just as I was leaving. And I'll get that read tomorrow. But sort of getting this, feeling out like what people want, because I think that will work better in me figuring out, okay, they want this done, or they want to, everybody's using Zoom. Well, how do I use Zoom? Is it free? Why is it free? Which is the biggest question. So that's something that Amy and I are working on, and we'll hopefully get some answers and some feedback from it. I have a couple of regulars that I know that I'll ask to take the quiz and sort of see where they're at, although I kind of know where they're at. So, and then other digital things that don't actually belong to us. We have calls every day, several times a day, about the DOT kiosk and about, can I just come in for a minute? I'll stay 6 foot away from you, but I have to do this. Because I discovered that you have to make an appointment with the DOT, with the DMV, and the last time I checked, July 11th was the first opening to get in. So I think a lot of people are wanting to get that done, and somebody's like, can you put it outside? No, we can't put it outside. It's not like Wi-Fi. We can't just put it out there and be good. So that will be nice. I will say one thing, when we get back to opening, it will be nice to offer those services again. I mean, you don't realize what you have until it's gone, and that's so true. And the Wi-Fi numbers that I looked at are down, which I don't know if people are getting tired of sitting in the parking lot. A friend of mine who does IT says he contributes it to the fact that cell phone companies are giving you these wicked unlimited deals. So then you don't have to sit outside your car in the library parking lot trying to, use your phone, where you could just stay at home and use your data, which I never thought about that, but I've been watching commercials, and that does make sense. They're offering unlimited data. So why should I sit in the parking lot when I can get unlimited data? So that explains the numbers. I like to know why. I mean, I'm just a curious person. I'd like to know why things are being used or are not being used. So I'm just going to take a breath right now. Sorry. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I had two thoughts or questions.
Mhm.
First, a week ago Saturday, I had to be away from the house and I needed to entertain kids. So I went to the library and I actually could not connect to the Wi-Fi. And I'm guessing it was me because it's usually operator error, but I wonder if maybe other people have struggled.
Were you on the west side of the building,
Yes,
the library building?
yes.
That's not, there's a wireless access point just inside the door. So
Uh-huh.
it does carry a little bit. The
Uh-huh.
strongest signal you're going to get is in the south, the front of the building.
And I wasn't there.
Yeah, just to let you know, if you're having problems
Good to
with it,
know.
but I've had other people with problems like that. But if you want a really strong signal, it's literally, it's the deck, the router's just inside, and then you're right there. And since they boosted it, it's really,
Okay.
I mean, I would give that a try.
Okay, sounds good. And my other thought was with the tumble books, I don't know if the school would do this, but the Iowa City School District puts out email like notifications from different organizations and stuff. Would that be a kind of a media or an avenue for the tumble books? I don't know if it is or not, but
Absolutely.
it'd get to a lot of
It's just-
kiddos and families.
It's just, and I should say, I don't know if any of you have used Tumble Book before. I love it. I think it's awesome. I get books read to me all the time because the animation is so cute. But it is not just kids' books, it's juvenile books. And the juvenile books can be read to you. So if you have a kid that's struggling with reading, that actually comes in really handy. It highlights the sentence, it reads the sentence, and then it goes to the next one. So it's not just picture books, it's not just for primary, it's for juvenile as well. And then there are nonfiction videos, and they have games and videos, educational games and videos. But but yeah, that would, because I know that I've had a mom that has really appreciated that because her daughter was struggling, and it was really nice that she could follow along and go at her own pace. So, but yeah, that's a good avenue. I'm gonna jot that down. That's a good avenue.
Yeah,
Especially with the AIM cards.
Although when will we have school again? I don't know.
well, it still goes out in their backpacks or whatever.
does
So,
it?
yeah,
Okay.
through is it
Well-
Peach Jar or Peach whatever?
Oh yeah, we get emails very
yeah.
frequently with
I think
that
you
information.
could talk to Aaron and Melanie
Aaron,
and
okay.
create some kind of a thing that we can announce and send that out with some of
Sure.
our things. And I do have to, I just was peeking at the canopy because I was like, I thought the numbers, I mean, the numbers aren't like huge, but they're more than doubled and some almost tripled in the last 3 months. So, and in April, actually, we had our highest use, which was almost 300. So we're definitely
Nice.
seeing more use of canopy than we had been, which we were averaging around 50 a month, and now we're about 167, 297, and 1691 the last 3 months. So
Plus, we've also increased from 8 to 15. So
yeah, so they've gone. It's actually gone up quite a bit. So all right. Does anyone have any other questions for Janet? Otherwise, we'll let her skedaddle and we'll go on with our meeting.
feel free to ask questions. I'm just doing laundry. Feel free to ask whatever you want.
All right. Yeah. I mean, you can. Yeah. Does anyone have anything else? Otherwise, we'll let Janet escape. All right. Thank you, Janet.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Have a nice night, you guys.
You
You
too.
too.
Hey, Janet.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So next up is the budget. And I decided after I'd gotten things going to I had just gotten numbers from Tracy for the budget numbers for mid-June. So I sent you guys the expenditures, but the financial report that I sent is actually, that is in the packet, is actually mid-June and not just the end of May. I just thought it'd be nice for you guys to see. So she always sends that after the first billing cycle, so that we can see where we are for that last billing cycle before it comes. And while we're a little bit above average, we're sitting really well. We won't have another we don't have another salary going out or anything to anyone. Checks for our personnel is already done, so that won't come out again until July. So we're actually sitting in really good shape for the rest of the year. I know that they've been lining up all the programs for summer reading programs, so we've been fortunate that we're able to use those funds and we will definitely use I think most of our funds for the summer reading program this year to help us cover some of the expenses of adding all the toolkits and the things we're sending out each week. And then having online, they're doing, the presenters are doing some discounts but because they don't have to travel, but we're still paying those presenters to come and use the space in Zoom. So, but other than that we're sitting in a really good shape at this point. Does anyone have questions about the budget or anything that you're curious about? No. Okay, so I gotta scroll back to my agenda because I don't have Jesse to do it for me. The Friends have not had a meeting since the COVID hit, so they are not. We do not have a Friends report. So then the next step is my report, and mainly we have, and at the time of me writing this report, we had 35 applications for our two library assistant positions. One is for Laura Wagner, who is our current library assistant who's moving out of state, and then the second is a new position for FY21 to start in July. And there's actually over, I believe she said the last count was 70 or 77, somewhere in the upper 70s. So I'm glad. I didn't know what it would be like with the quarantine and how we would do with getting applications. So I am leaving that in the capable hands of Jennifer and Kelly, our public services librarian, and I know they've been talking about selecting some folks to interview, and it sounded like they had a good handful of people to do that. We are going to bring all of our staff back into the library beginning next week. So a week from today will be the first time we've all seen each other since March 17th. So everybody's looking forward to being back together and starting to work on our plan of attack for reopening the library. One of the first things I think we'll try to do is to open by appointment next week. Probably, I'm hoping for Wednesday. We'll see if we can get it back in order quickly enough to do that. There are some things that we have not been paying attention to while we've been closed, which is just getting the stacks cleaned up and back. Although the whole side where the new carpet is looks beautiful and is all lovely and dusted and ready to roll. So we did complete a painting project. We painted all the bathrooms and the meeting rooms. They look great. And then all the study rooms, and then we painted and then we added the new carpet. And we have sneeze guards in place. We have them all there. They're not all up yet because we're using that space for the curbside delivery right now. But we will quickly have to adapt from that. We actually now have a table set up in the lobby. So every time we do something, we learn something new. And we were piling them all up on the counters. And that was, as we've gotten really busy with the library hub, that is not enough space. So we added a table in the front that we use now right by the doors for the library hop. And we bought not only sneeze guards, but I just ordered dividers for the workroom. So I think you've probably all seen the workroom, but the staff work side by side. So in order to give them some breathing room and to also be able to, we do require our masks to be worn by staff. So we will ask them to wear their masks, but they'll have a divider up that's 78 inches tall and 48 inches wide. So those will go between each of the desk areas so that they can at least pop their nose out once in a while and take a breather from the masks. We are all wearing masks unless our doors are closed in our offices, which I feel just out of solidarity that I try to keep my mask on. Since not everyone has an office, it seems a little unfair. So I did include the interim service plan is what we're calling it, or the phased reopening plan in the packet. I don't know if you all had a chance to take a look at it. It's still not completely ironed out. I'm actually waiting until all the staff are back in the building to talk about the final pieces of that. My guess is we'll allow around 20 to 25 people in the building at a time for a half hour at a time. And we do have kind of a system that we're working out on that right now. And then we'll pull a lot of the furniture and move it into the meeting rooms since our meeting rooms won't be being used. Or we'll just mark it that it's not available, that furniture is not available. I did see one last night at I actually went through a restaurant and ate for one of the first times I have, and there was a table that said this table is a figment of your imagination. You can't say here. So I thought that was kind of cute. Maybe we'll do something fun with it. So, and with the bringing people in, we were trying to decide what's the best route. How do we know how many people are in the building? One thing we've done is buy some shopping baskets to have by the door so people can grab a basket and go and grab their stuff. We're going to encourage a grab and go model. So asking people to maybe just one person per family to come in at a time and find their stuff and go back out. We're not doing the one-way aisles, but we are doing one person per aisle. So we'll have signs up that say only one person per aisle. We bought some little just numbers that look like a keychain. And those will be handing out a number to each person with an assigned time that they need to come back up front, and we'll be able to use that paging system, our paging system, to ask them to come back if they're not back, and still keep their privacy. So if we say number 22, it's time for you to check out or bring your stuff to the front and check out, then they'll know that it's time for their turn to be over, and it also helps us track the number of people. I'd like to combine it with some kind of an appointment system for those who'd like to make an appointment to come at a certain time. I just haven't quite figured out how we're going to balance both of those, or if it's easier to do one over the other. I know there's a libraries doing mixes of those two things. We've seen several different models. The main thing that I've heard from other librarians is just that it's been lovely to be open to the public again. So I think we're all looking forward to that, to being able to allow people in, even if it will be just limited numbers. And I think we're going to, I think that we'll continue curbside for some time, if not just have it, always, except for maybe with a little less hype to it, where we'd have maybe a couple hours a week where people could pick up materials if they wanted to do the curbside instead of coming in. That may be an ongoing thing that just stays as part of our service plan. It makes sense. It's helpful for people, and it really isn't a super high demand for us to do it. And I say that because I only do it for an hour a day when I am at the library. The other staff that do it more might beg to differ with me. And then, as I mentioned, the staff will be wearing masks when they're in the building. We are also going to ask our patrons to wear masks. I had Laura, one of our staff, create a really, really great sign. It just says mask on, sanitize, and distance yourselves. It's very simple and to the point. We're excited to see how it goes. I do have masks available for the public to use. We had several. One of our staff is at the City Hall, is acting sort of as the purchasing agent for most of our things for the COVID and the quarantine. So she was able to purchase several thousand cloth masks. So I've hoarded quite a few of them, and she told me to take whatever I needed. We'll be just having a bucket and washing those as we need to, as they with bleach. So that's what we're thinking. We'll have those available to the public if they need them, if they have forgotten a mask. If people don't have a mask, we'll still be able to serve them because we have the curbside option. So either way, people will have service from us. And then Eric is our last staff person who has not been back in the office yet, and he will start coming back on a reduced schedule, or he only is 10 hours a week, so we may be able to bring him back his full 10 hours starting on the 29th of June. So we're going to give it a week for us to get acclimated and back in our space and working as a group, and then bring him back on board so that everybody will be fully back. For the beginning interim, we'll probably just keep with our 8 to 5 hours Monday through Friday for a week or two until we're kind of back and adapted, and then we'll begin to expand some of those hours into evenings and weekends a little bit, so people who can't necessarily get there during the week will be able to come back. And does anybody have any questions before I move on? Did you guys have any questions about the reopen plan or anything? No? Okay. So the mass service update, I think, time goes so strangely right now that I can't remember if I told you guys about the mask program. Yes, I did. Okay. So we have had over 100 masks donated to that program now, and we've given out, as of this reading, 65 masks, and it's more than that now. It's probably over 70 now. I know we had quite a handful given out at the end of last week. I'm just really excited about that program. We just had another handful of gorgeous masks donated just a couple days ago. So it's been a great thing for us to be able to just get information out there, as well as get the masks to people to help keep our community safe. So I am presenting at a program this week for the library. It's called Library 2.0. It's a virtual format that they've had for years. It's 30-minute presentations. I am presenting on policy and procedures. And I'm pretty excited about it. There are 4,600 librarians signed up for this program, but only 300 can come to any one session. So that's the most people that will be in my session would be 300 if it fills up. There's lots of great presenters going on. They did just decide that they're going to move our Association for Rural and Small Libraries conference to a virtual conference. We made that decision as a board a couple of weeks ago. It's a hard decision. It was a bummer. We were supposed to be in Wichita, and now we will not. So they are frantically working to figure out what that conference will look like after this. But I think it'll still be a fantastic conference. And as I had mentioned, I'm presenting at that conference, and Aaron is also. And then finally, I worked last week on another, this is the second one I've done. We had 60 people in a meeting for the Association for Rural and Small Libraries. We've moved our programs that we were doing once a week to twice monthly, so every other week. So I worked with a librarian from Oklahoma who's also a good friend, Bailey Hutchison, on mental health. Mainly for staff, but also for our patrons, and what different people are doing on mental health and self-care during the pandemic. So that was a really interesting topic to discuss with people, and it's interesting to see how people react. I'm sure you all know, different people cope differently or don't cope in some cases, but and then finally, well, not finally, before the staff reports, I just wanted to share, we are working on a few pretty great things for the diversity and equity. Amy is has a strong background in diversity and equity. So she's working on some things for adults, as we have been dealing with this yet another interesting thing going on in our society right now. So the library did put out a statement on social and race equity this last week. We had a newsletter, and I asked Melanie to save me a little space to do that. So I put that in the board packet so you guys could see what that looked like. And then I linked to the Urban Libraries Council statement, which is a really, really good, strong statement. I reached out to them to ask them if we could be that. When I saw it, there were 2 libraries in Iowa. It was Des Moines and Cedar Rapids had signed on to their statement, or as a signee on their statement. And so we're not a member. It's $6,000 a year for us to be a member, which is a little out of our range. So I reached out and said, I don't know if we can do this or if this is just for your members. And they said, absolutely not. We would love to have you on board. So we are one of it's 168 libraries across the United States who has listed as a signee on that race equity statement. And I'm very pleased to be a part of that. And while we were doing that, Amy stumbled across, after I wrote this report, that they have a whole map of all the libraries across the United States that are fine-free. So I reached out yet again to the same guy and told him, well, we're fine-free. And so we're now on their map too. So we're on their fine-free map, and we're on their equity statement. So feeling pretty pleased about that. And then I believe Emily added into hers, you may have seen it already, but we are doing a kids action day on the weekend. They're going to chalk the walk and make signs. They had initially planned on marching from Iowa City all the way to Coralville, North Liberty to Coralville to Iowa City. At least the organizers and whoever wanted to, and they kind of started looking at the amount of time it would take and decided that probably wouldn't work. But they are going to have programs in all 3 cities with this shared group of leadership, and Emily from our staff will be a part of that, as I believe Liz is helping her, one of our part-timers, and Aaron too. So we've got several staff who will be involved in that. And then lastly is all of our lovely staff reports. I had initially told you that Janet did not have a staff report because I couldn't find it, but I found she did have one. And Melanie is out of town, so I don't know if maybe I missed hers too, because as you probably all might be aware, email has become the new communication besides Zoom. And I have so many emails that sometimes I lose track. But everyone else is listed here from their things, from their different reports of things that are going on. So does anyone have any specific questions from any of the staff reports? No one has anything exciting. The summer lunches, or the summer luncheon fun, has been interesting. The people who were working that program gave note, both of them gave notice the first week that they were quitting. So Aaron has been picking up some slack there and trying to help them regroup and recover well this year for doing the summer lunch, and then figuring out how we're going to do our summer reading program distribution. They have been creating 485 packets that go out at the different sites for the summer lunch during the summer lunch program, and that seems to be going well. And then we're also handing them out in the library, which we have seen quite a few going out. Some days it's 20, some days it's 3 or 4. It just depends on the day. We know that our participation will likely not be as high, but the wonderful part is that the kiddos that we're reaching through the summer lunch program are kiddos who we may not otherwise be able to reach. So we're pretty excited to have that. I'm trying to see if there's, and then Andrew gave you some lovely statistics, which he always does such a good job with stats. And I was interested to see his numbers. He was running a lot of good numbers, and then he likes to find curious statistics. So you'll see that he's got some interesting different ones. So that is everything. I don't have anything else. It's a quick report when you're in Zoom. All right, so we are going back to the top. And the next thing on the agenda then is the internet policy review. There's not a lot of changes to the policy, mainly just some edits as we've been changing to say North Liberty Library or NLL instead of North Liberty Community Library. And then Kelly has, I asked her, this is right up her alley, if she would take a look to be sure that every single one of our policies was crafted exactly the same so that they look all very much the same and consistent. That has not been a thing in the past. So she's been working on a full manual to redo the entire manual so that every policy is laid out the same format. So I've included her formatting in here. It's a little difficult to see with the just the red lines in here, but I just wanted you guys to see what she's been working on, and that kind of shows you. She should have that to me shortly. She's working on some edits. She just got some software, Adobe software, to help her do the edits for this. So this should be done by the time we meet again in August and look lovely. So there's not, other than that, there weren't really any recommended changes from us. Did you guys have any questions on your end or anything you felt we needed to address? All right, then I guess we just need to know if you guys can give us the nod to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve it as is.
I second.
Second.
So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Fantastic. All right. So we will get that updated, and then once Kelly's got all of her updates, we'll put the full new policy manual on the website. We'll probably hold off on doing that until we have the full policy manual up to date. And then the last thing in here in the packet, as always, is just the council report that we do every year, or that I do every month, so that you can see what things were looking like. Melanie did have her great flocking event all through the end of May, and turned out really great. So she raised nearly $1,000 for our endowment, so that's always nice. And that is all I have today. Then I guess we just have one more motion. Does anyone want
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that one.
All right.
Well, we'll see each other in August. Sorry for
Yes.
putting July on the agenda.
We will see what happens in August. All right.
Sounds
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.